On April 30th, the Minnesota Timberwolves eliminated the Lakers in the NBA playoffs in the Western Conference, 103-96. Game 1 of the first round of the playoffs, the Timberwolves mollywopped the Lakers 117-95. And at one point in the game, they were up 70-48. Luka Doncic was making things happen on offense. He was the aggressor. He finished the game with 37 points. He was getting into the lane and, shooting threes, creating his own shot, trying to make things happen on offense. But while the Timberwolves were just hammering the Lakers, I'm looking for LeBron to say, fuck Anthony Edwards and fuck the Timberwolves. I'm going to stop this bullshit and start making plays, get my team involved, spark a run here, and we're going to win the game. And I was expecting him to drop 50, 55 points. If he is the GOAT, I'm expecting him to do great things. But there are plays where I'm looking at LeBron and he's just standing around and not really getting too involved in the offense. And so he finished the game with 19 points. So we go to game 2. The Lakers beat the Timberwolves 94-85. This felt like one of those games where the team that has home court advantage, they get punched in the mouth, they drop the first game, and then they come out the next game with energy, more focus, setting the tone. And Luka, I felt, was still the aggressor and the playmaker on offense. He had 31 points. In this game, the Lakers wanted to get Rudy Gobert on the three-point line, put him in difficult one-on-one situations, especially with Luka. Austin Reeves a couple of times got a one-on-one matchup with Rudy Gobert, or Gobert, however you say his name. But yeah, the Lakers, they came out, they were playing defense, they were in Minnesota's face, creating turnovers, scoring in the fast break, knocking down their three-point shots. In the second and third quarters, I felt that they were playing a lot of iso ball, like a lot of one-on-one ball, especially when Luka had the ball in his hands, a lot of one-on-one basketball. And the only time that they did move the ball around was when like Hachimura would sneak behind the defenders and he would cut to the basket for an easy bucket. But LeBron, he had 21 points. Now, the Timberwolves did make it into a game. They did come back, gave themselves a chance to go up 2-0 in the series. LeBron in the fourth quarter was 2 of 8. He couldn't hit from the field. It seems like when he's not burrowing his way into the paint, putting his shoulder down and running into someone's chest, trying to power his way into the paint and get to the rim, he's not effective. He doesn't really have a consistent jumper. So, he was okay overall in this one. Then we get to game 3. Lakers lose to the T-Wolves 116-104. LeBron actually showed up in this game.
One man to beat, it's Randall, lays it up and in. Randall chasing him. James finds the elbow, jumps, pulls up, three-pointer, puts 8. They had 6 of them in the first. James, alley-oop to James. Halfway through the fourth, James a 3, puts it in.
Now, cuts it to 1, so I'm expecting him to keep scoring, give his team the lead, and they go up 2-0. This is what I'm expecting. If he's the GOAT, if he's better than Michael, then I expect him to keep scoring and keep making plays on offense and make some plays on defense. Well,
Smith and Hachimura got tied up. James fell out of his hand down the lane. Inside, layup, good, and the foul. The hands of James, fires up a 3, side of the backboard.
LeBron finished with 38 in game 3. And people will look at his stats and be like, oh, he still had a great game. He had a good game, but in the fourth, he didn't show up once again. And that's what I was looking for him to show up in the fourth quarter. Game 4, Minnesota beats LA again, 116-113. These are 2 games that LA had a chance to steal. LeBron, he had 27 points. Luka had 38. How did he look in the fourth quarter?
James puts up a 3. Bounce pass, deflected and stolen.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck happened?
0 for 2 in the fourth. And then we get to game 5. Now, I'm not putting this series on LeBron. Okay, I'm not saying that the reason why the Lakers lost is because of him. Game 5, JJ doesn't really put in a big, and they get manhandled down low by Rudy Gobert. Luka Doncic, over the years, I've heard about him not being a good defender. And this year, I finally took the time to look at some Luka Doncic games, and I see why. And you even saw it in these playoffs. The dude needs to lose some weight. I think he needs to lose some weight, get rid of that oversized, plushy body of his, and put on some muscle in the offseason. I think someone needs to tell him that. Drop a few pounds, put on a little muscle, and work on his defense. Because it looks like he doesn't even want to play defense. All he wants to do is just score. He'll let someone drive right by him, and then on offense, he's doing crossovers and between the leg, step back threes and floaters, fadeaways. So it feels like Luka wants to just play offense. JJ not making substitutions in the second half of game 4, but even though they still had a chance to win the game, but still they could have used, they definitely could have used a breather. Guys, when they had chances to put the ball in the hoop down the stretch, they couldn't do it. Also, LA couldn't stop the Minnesota Timberwolves whenever they decided to attack the paint and get a better shot inside. So I'm not saying that it's all on LeBron, all right? Now let's go to game 5. Now LeBron can still be great. He can still be phenomenal. He can still lead the Lakers from a 3-1 deficit. Can he do it? Can the man who is better than Michael do it? Can the man who has faced better competition throughout his career? Michael never faced any competition when he was playing. Can the man who would dominate in both eras, this era and Jordan's era? Because Jordan couldn't last in this era because everyone is bigger, faster, and stronger. And LeBron is bigger and faster and stronger, and he can take the punishment. Jordan could never take the punishment. Can he do it? No. He doesn't do it. Okay, now, no thanks to JJ. He didn't put in any big men. He went small the entire game, and Rudy Gobert did whatever he wanted to. LA down in the paint. He had 27 points, 2 blocks, and he had 9 offensive rebounds, 15 defensive rebounds. And I was hearing that this is like the best game that he's ever had. LeBron, on the other hand, had 22 points, and he went 2 for 7 in the fourth quarter. There were times in the fourth he was in one-on-one situations, but he chose to dish it out to a Laker sitting behind the three-point line, making the smart basketball plays. I think it's because he struggles at hitting a consistent jump shot. Jordan didn't need to be Air Jordan and dunk on people and fly through the air to take over games. He took over games with his jump shot, mid-range, fadeaways. LeBron struggles with that. He's more comfortable when he's burrowing his way, putting his head in someone's chest or his shoulder in someone's chest, powering his way to the rim, getting a layup, a dunk, possible foul, and one. That's when he's most comfortable. But the Lakers lose in 5, and it seems like the people from the media, especially the ones from that 4-letter network, they picked the Lakers in 5, but the Wolves apparently didn't want to follow the script, so they took it in 5. I think the more LeBron James plays, the argument of him being the GOAT and him being better than Michael gets more and more ridiculous. It kills the argument because he keeps having these moments the more he plays. Getting blocked on the final possession of the Lakers season when they got swept by Denver, and I knew he was going to drive to the lane. I knew it. I was saying to myself, he's going to drive to the lane. Series like this happens. To me, the whole GOAT conversation died a long time ago. Like when he scored 8 points in that NBA Finals matchup against Dallas. He's the GOAT, but he's making the smart basketball plays rather than taking over in the fourth quarter. He's the GOAT, but he's jumping from team to team and wanting to play with this guy and that guy. Kyrie, Wade, Bosh, Luka, AD. He's the GOAT, but he load manages. Yeah, so to me, there is no debate. There never has been. And so we'll see what happens this offseason. You know, apparently Giannis, I'm seeing on social media, Giannis photoshopped in a Lakers uniform, a Knicks uniform. So will LeBron try to get Giannis to come to play with him in LA? Will he try to get more help? It felt like the Luka Doncic trade was kind of a fallback in a way, because if things didn't go well, he can just put it on Luka. He's the younger player and LeBron is the old guy. He's the old guy when he loses. But when he wins, oh shit, you know, he's 40 years old and he's still dropping 38 point games. He is the GOAT. And no other player has ever done what LeBron has done at this age. Michael never did that. Michael never won a Like I never won an in-season, what do you call that shit? An in-season Emirate tournament. Michael never did that. But anyway, I'm going to cut the video off here. I think I've said what I needed to say. Playoff basketball has been overall okay because the refs are getting the fuck out of the way and letting these guys play, which is refreshing to see. Seeing dudes fight for rebounds and get physical with each other on defense, actually make attempts to steal the ball without having the ref blow the whistle so quickly. Yeah, and watching these games in a condensed version also helps as well. It makes the game more tolerable to watch because it's just fast. It's constantly going. That's all I wanted to say. Sure that I'm going to piss off some LeBron fanboys or maybe just basketball fanboys in general. Whatever. Please like and subscribe. That is it. I am out.